You are listening to WTUZ Radio Podcast. Welcome to WTUZ Radio Podcast, and I'm your host, Rhonda. And today's topic, I actually just got this. It came across my feed, and shout out to the YouTube channel, This is John Williams. Again, that YouTube channel is This is John Williams. Now, his focus is mainly on real estate, which he does a great job with that. But he brought attention to this story, and I'm like, whoa, it's something that I need to bring to the family's attention. So let's use a little bit of technology here, and let's get started. So, family, the reset is officially here, okay? This came out yesterday. And this is Biden's pick for bank regulator faces rocky Senate hearing over unorthodox research ideas. Okay. So this is the Biden's nominee to get the job of the bank regulator. So forgive me in advance if I'm about to mispronounce her name. I don't know if it's Sally Amarova. I could just say Miss Amarova. President Biden's pick to become comptroller of the currency, head of one of the nation's top bank regulators, is expected to face a tough round of questioning Thursday from senators concerned by her academic research, which explores fundamental changes to the financial industry. Republicans and at least one Democrat on the Senate Banking Committee are all but certain to grill the Cornell University law professor over unconventional ideas she advocated, including magnifying the power of the Federal Reserve to include consumer banking. Now, y'all caught that? Magnifying the powers of the Federal Reserve to include consumer banking and sweeping checks to the power of banks such as JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo. But Amarova said in an interview Tuesday that her critics have underestimated her ability to distinguish between academic exploration and the duties of a regulator. While Republicans, including ranking member Senator Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania, have long warned against recommending a candidate whose academic works calls, y'all see this, and those that are listening on the podcast end of the deal, in banking as we know it. That was a direct quote from Miss Amarova. Skepticism has also come from Senator John Tester, a Democrat from Montana. Just one Democratic defection on a committee vote to recommend her to the broader Senate would likely end her nomination to head the office of comptroller of the currency. Okay, so do you all understand how important this role is that she is trying to get, or this job she's trying to get, however you want to look at it? And even if she were to advance to the Senate with the committee's endorsement, a single nay vote from Democrats' rank could doom her appointment. All right, so they saying testimony is to begin, and it's all shook down yesterday, y'all. The comptroller, that's the job she's going for, regulates about 1,200 banks with the total assets of around $14 trillion, or 2/3 of the entire U.S. banking system. Its representatives work with big banks to ensure lenders are abiding by federal laws and providing fair access to financial services and otherwise examining bank management. Amarova has drawn fierce opposition from both the GOP and banking industry lobbyists who say her ideas promote an excessive role for the government that would hurt business at lenders large and small. Dr. Amarova would regulate. Now, child, this where the meat is. Dr. Amarova would regulate community banks to pass through entities that hold their deposits on behalf of the Federal Reserve, effectively eliminating the community banking model. American Bankers Association President Rob Nicos said in October, "We respectfully but strenuously disagree with those positions and believe they are out of step with the role for which she is being considered." So, child, do you all understand what homegirl is saying she want to do? Now, according to her, they're trying to say this was based on some academic work she did, yada, yada, yada. Oh, okay. She's basically saying let the Fed Reserve control localized banking. So now, as consumers would have their banking accounts with the Fed. Now, I want y'all to remember when I done took and told y'all back in January, remember I had that conversation? I did the series on Gateway to a New Economy. And I told you all that they were talking about what? A Fed coin. And that that Fed coin, sorry about that. And that Fed coin would be the direct answer to digital/crypto currency. I also said that would be a part of the reset. I also said, remember, I was waiting on that white paper. Because remember, Powell, Fed Reserve Chairman Powell, had said, we're studying digital currency, and we're going to publish those findings via a white paper in the summer. So, honey, everybody on the crypto side has been sitting back waiting on the Fed team to release the white paper. Okay, and the white paper, anybody that's familiar with that gives the breakdown of the technology behind a particular coin, etc., etc., etc. Okay, that never came. We've been waiting. It ain't came yet. Okay, it still to me did not mean that they're not behind the scenes ready to stand up a Fed coin and to totally bring on a digital currency leaving from the dollar. Now, to be fair to Dr. Amarova, maybe this isn't her belief for the Fed to be the entity for deposits, consumer deposits to be held. Maybe that was just some of her academia work. Okay, I'm just trying to be fair to her. I personally don't believe that. That's just my opinion. Okay, I believe she's being nominated to get that position to do exactly that, usher in those changes. All right, so let's continue. Asked about that characterization, Amarova said that her academia works are just that, exploratory and theoretical. Okay, Miss Amarova, I'm just saying, it's my opinion. That's what you say. But all right, honey, I am not a caricature that I often see when I see coverage of myself, she said via a video chat Tuesday afternoon. I know that difference between the job of an academic and the freedom that academics have in terms of exploring ideas, and the job of a regulator, which is very circumscribed. Okay. All right, girl. So you trying to say that you know how to separate the two from academia versus real world in the markets. All right, girl. There is a statutory mandate for the agency. There is a specific toolkit. There are goals that Congress has set for the agency, she added. The key that's missing in all of these discussions is my understanding of that critical difference. Her supporters, including Banking Committee Chairman Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio, Democrat of Ohio, say warnings from the industry and Republicans are misguided, unfairly painting her as anti-bank, and fail to acknowledge her decades of experience in banking law. Child. More than 70 financial regulatory experts from across the political spectrum, including many former bankers, have endorsed her nomination. Brown's opening statement reads, "From growing up in the Soviet Union to escaping to a brand new life here to enduring this last month of personal attacks with dignity, Miss Amarova has demonstrated the strength and independence she'll need to be impartial, and a tough comptroller." Okay, so again, I want you all to understand the role she is going for. Comptroller, okay, so over the currency, over the dollar, and the head over banking regulations. You all understand how important that job is? And she just so happened to have an academia background on record, making statements saying that the Fed just need to go head on and manage consumers' accounts. Essentially, no more private banking. That's pretty much once you get down to it, once you boil down to it, okay? Now, what I'm saying, and I'm pretty sure as this story starts to circulate a little bit more, if it starts to circulate a little bit more, and it probably won't be, maybe if she gets confirmed and all that jazz, maybe the story will blow up, because typically the American public, they don't pay attention to finances until something's on fire, and by that time it's too late. It's done, already been done. But bottom line is, this screams reset of the financial system, going from paper, petro, dollar to digital coins. Okay. Amarova has explained that many of her academic papers were motivated by her interest in protecting American taxpayers from excessive risk-taking at lenders and prevent future bank bailouts like those seen during the financial crisis of 2007 through 2009. That's the excuse you gonna go with? Okay, girl. Her supporters claim much of the criticism she faced is the product of discrimination based on where she was raised and educated. Okay, y'all. So y'all say, okay. She grew up in Kazakhstan, where it was part of the Soviet Union, and is a graduate of Moscow State University. She later worked at the Treasury Department in the GW administration. Child. Clutch pearls, sip tea. So she also has Treasury Department experience. And she's in academia that's on record of saying that really private banking should pretty much be done with, and that the Fed Reserve should manage consumer accounts. Okay. I mean, based on her resume, she definitely has experience for the job. But let's continue. Wade Henderson, president of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, wrote Tuesday that he is disappointed in what he categorized as shameful and discriminatory public attacks on Amarova. Child, now I have to admit, I don't know if folks were slinging mud based on this woman's ethnicity, based on her growing up in Russia, and based on her being a woman. So let me put that out there. I don't know that for sure. Now, if folks were not using any one of those to say why she would not be good for the job, then you all that's screaming discrimination, you dead wrong for it. Okay? You can't pull out the discrimination card when you feel like it, when things don't go your way. That's not fair. Now, if they were doing that based on her ethnicity, based on her growing up in Russia, based on her being a woman, then shame on you all that's doing that, and which would be the reason that she's going to get the job. Okay? This is simple, people. Grow up, be adults. But let's continue. We would note that if Professor Amarova were a candidate for virtually any other job, discrimination on the basis of her national origins would violate Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and numerous other civil rights laws. He wrote in his letter to ABA's Nicos and other banking industry advocates. Child. So I said what I said on that. Nicos insists that his grievances with Amarova's candidacy have nothing to do with her impressive personal background. Okay, now, come on now, Nicos. Go on and tell her like it is now. He like, no, you're not finna paint me out to be no racist, discriminatory white man. I don't think so. Looking forward, Amarova said that if she's confirmed, she'd like to coordinate with the Federal Reserve and Federal Deposit Insurance Company, so that's the FDIC, to study how best to protect smaller banks in more rural areas of the country, such as upstate New York. Having a local bank that knows what small businesses on the ground need and can actually make a credit decision based on their understanding of who these people are and what they're doing is such a bread and butter American ingredient of the economic prosperity and local job creation, she said. All right, so I think it would be important to understand whether community banks may be overly burdened by various requirements, she added. These comments may not be enough to persuade the Independent Community Bankers of America, a trade group representing thousands of small and mid-sized banks across the U.S., which on Wednesday voiced its opinion to her candidacy. So in other words, they still wasn't buying it, Dr. Amarova. They ain't buying it, girl. In a letter to Brown and Toomey, the ICBA said its objection stems from a review of Amarova's years of research, including an October article in which she explores the idea of placing consumer deposits at the Fed and licensing local banks and credit unions to operate physical branches and ATMs on the Fed's behalf and receive a fee for their services. Child, clutch my pearls, clutch my pearls. Let's see if we could just real quick pull that up. Oh, child, it's a whole 70 pages. I ain't trying to go through all of that. Yeah, I would have to do something separate on this. I think I will. I'll do something separate on this. I'll read through it, and we fencing to come back to this, because now, baby, I wants to know what you said, Dr. Amarova. I want to know, girl, because you got them shook. And if you put this up in here, you are ending banking. You're just totally setting them up as to service. Child, yeah, honey. I'm gonna give me an opportunity to read through that, and then we're gonna come back on that. Child. It remains to be seen how her recent statements and writings will influence Democrat holdout Tester, a moderate and community bank advocate. His office told CNBC in October that Amarova's past statements about the role of government in the financial system raised concerns about her ability to impartially serve, but that he looked forward to speaking with her on one-on-one about his concerns. Tester's office confirmed that the two have since met and said the senator looks forward to hearing from her again on Thursday. A spokesman declined to say whether their meeting was enough to earn Tester's support. Even if Tester ultimately agrees to support Amarova, she could face a razor-thin vote in the broader Senate split 50-50 between the two parties. That's because Democratic Senator John Manchin of West Virginia and Kirsten Sinema of Arizona both told the White House that they had misgivings about her candidacy, according to Axios. Sinema's office did not reply to CNBC's request for comment, and representatives for Manchin declined to comment. Child. Honey, there you have it. This was from CNBC. Yesterday, Biden's pick for bank regulator faces rocky Senate hearing over unorthodox research ideas. Now, interestingly enough, to show you how media can be so biased, because I wanted to pull another article because on the YouTube channel, This is John Williams, where I got this. This is the article he pulled. So I wanted to pull another supplemental article to kind of get another viewpoint as well. And child, saw NPR's, honey, they didn't go into none of her research, none of that. They made it all about being discriminatory. It was so biased that I didn't even want to waste my time. So CNBC did a good job on this, putting this issue in the forefront. I personally believe this is a form of disclosure they are putting in place to move forward with the financial reset. So, child, we just finna sit back and watch this definitely unfold. I'm going to take a look at Dr. Amarova's research from back up in the day. And I'll come back with a follow-up on that, because, child, based on what folks are saying in her research, now I'm really intrigued. I want to know all what she said. So, all right, family, I wish everyone well on this Friday. This is Rhonda with WTUZ Radio Podcast. Peace and love, family.